Hey, let's go. Get in here. Get in here right now. Get in here. Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. That's our bet in the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody and we're taking downfield for a touchdown. I guarantee you that.
Guarantee.
Look at me. Look at me.
Let's go.
We got 30 minutes.
Let's go.
For the rest of our lives.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Lock on. Hey. Lock on. Lock on. Hey. Put your heart on the side. We got it.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of DC Sports Daily. This is your host, Corey Tesson, alongside Jack Maestri. Just another day in the nation's capital. The Nats played. Football started tonight. Definitely a good day to talk about some sports. We'll go over some Nats talk and some possibly Redskins talk. I know we covered a lot of Redskins yesterday in the NFC's preview, but I think we can dive back into that since they're opening against the Eagles on Sunday. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Man, what a night.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what started tonight?
What?
The NFL.
It's time for the NFL.
Hey, wake up.
I'm awake.
Wake up.
I'm
Wake
really
up.
I'm really
Wake
awake.
up.
I've never been more hype in
I'm
my
sensing
life.
some low energy.
I've never been more hype in my entire life.
Prove it.
Yep. Here we go.
Yep.
So let's lead off going into the Nats talk here. I'm very energized.
Dude, they look good.
They do look good.
Victor Robles, best flyout, best
must-watch TV.
Best F9 that I've ever seen. For those of you who don't know, the Nats called up number 2 prospect in MLB baseball. Some would argue that he should be the number 1 prospect in the entire MLB.
Dude's got mad wheels, too.
In baseball. Number 1 prospect in baseball. Officially, he's number 2 in the last ranking. Sorry about that. So he was called up today by the Washington Nationals. First Major League at bat, he got a pinch hitting appearance. He flew out to the warning track to right field, but he was already at second base when the ball was caught. So, dude's fast. FP claimed that it was the first time he'd ever seen him hit. That's a blatant lie, because FP called some spring training games when Robles was playing. So, that's that. FP's just a liar sometimes. FP, I know you're listening because you liked our tweet tonight. So, just could you apologize for that maybe on the next broadcast? Thanks very much.
Can you believe tonight, going into game 140, is the first time we played the Phillies since May 14th?
Honestly, I remember playing the Phillies in May and them saying, this is the last time we'll see them until September. And I was like, no, that's a lie.
It's 102 games.
That's weird, dude. A division opponent that you're not seeing for the middle, 3 months of the season.
At all.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's almost unheard of.
Because we played the Marlins 16 games since then.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
Yeah, but are we done with the Marlins now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's weird. Normally you just wrap up, the last month of the season is just only playing the division.
Are we going to play the Phillies, series down the stretch?
I guess you can't. I guess technically you have to have other opponents sprinkled in because there's 5 teams in the division, so only 4 of them can be playing each other at one time.
But we're done with AL teams, so we're definitely playing in the NL. I don't really know.
The Nats look good. I know we've said September baseball doesn't really matter. I mean, the Nats' magic number is at 5. I think the Marlins were winning last time I checked tonight, so it might stay at 5 tonight. But I mean, yeah, the Dodgers and the Nats both have their divisions wrapped up, regardless of whether or not they've clinched officially yet. But I gotta say, I'm feeling a lot better than I was a couple weeks ago when the Dodgers looked unbeatable and the Nats were just playing good baseball.
We kind of touched on that because the Dodgers have been 1-9 in their last 10, and they're losing tonight again. Kershaw's given up 3 runs in the first couple innings.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to a lot of 106.7 today, and they were touching. It's not a flip. It's not a switch that you can flip on and off.
We've been talking about that for a couple weeks now.
We have. We've mentioned that over time and time again.
Baseball's not one of those sports. You can't just turn it on.
I think I mean, at least all of the media outlets that were saying the Dodgers are the best team in history, they're not saying that anymore.
Jinx.
I heard a great quote earlier. It was actually from like the 106.7 like Sports Flash, whatever they do, just a little sports update in between the shows. And they were saying, if you're a Dodgers fan, obviously it's not time to reach for the panic button yet, but you probably know exactly where that panic button is. And I mean,
I'm sure
they're not just losing, they are playing bad baseball.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they've kind of chilled out a little bit, but if they don't turn it on within the next week, going down the stretch, they're going to be in trouble. Because we're turning it on, and other teams are turning it on. The Colorado Rockies are turning it on, the Diamondbacks, the Indians, just from both sides.
Dude, Diamondbacks and Indians
are playing ridiculous baseball.
14 wins in a row and 13 wins in a row? Like,
right now, that's my World Series prediction.
Honestly, but momentum matters in baseball.
Especially in October.
Yeah. I mean, it's still September, but
we're getting in the middle of September here.
Yeah, we're getting there.
This is like, we got 20 games left after tonight. And
Also, do you think the Nats can win 100 games?
No.
Really?
Because we're going to, once we clinch,
so tonight,
we're just going to chill.
Tonight we got 86 wins.
Yeah. That's 14 out of 20.
We got to win. We got to go 14-7.
Yeah. But we're not going to play our everyday lineup.
I think we could go 14-7.
Even with Andrew Stevens in the lineup?
Don't mention his name. Please
Is
don't.
it Andrew Stevenson? It's Andrew Stevenson. I don't even want to call him by
he doesn't want to
name.
go by Andrew, though. He wants to go by Drew Stevenson.
Excuse me?
Yeah, don't ask me why. But
2K.
Yeah, he'll be
not 2K. He'll be the shows telling him what to do.
He'll be on our team, yes, but we have enough call-ups that maybe he'll never see the field.
They don't have the Andrew nickname,
he
had to make it Drew.
They felt bad. They felt bad that they'd called him up earlier.
Lord.
So they needed to call him up again so he didn't get his feelings hurt. But, I mean, come on. He's not going to see the field.
Yeah. But speaking of the Nats, obviously we're speaking of the Nats.
Just saying, I think the Nats can win 100.
They could.
I think they will.
The Nats have, coming into tonight, their largest division lead in team history of 18 games. That's pretty exciting.
Team history?
Team history.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that includes, because that's not franchise history.
I don't know if that's franchise history,
that's
but
just team history. Even our good year, when we had 98 wins, we still weren't this far up.
That's, wow.
Because that was, when was
that? Do you think that, I mean, honest question, and I know, I mean, you can look at records and just say, I mean, you can make it black and white and just look at records, but do you think that's because the division, all four of the other teams are really that bad, or do you think it's because we are actually probably the best that we've been out of any of our playoff runs?
I mean, I think we're the best we've been, but I think the teams are just that bad.
You think it's a little bit of both?
When we had our 96, 98 win seasons, we still had the Braves and the Mets chasing us. The first year was the Braves, I think, and the Mets were chasing us the second year.
We've had nobody chasing us.
Ever. I mean, the Mets were close, and then the Mets stole it from us that one year.
No, but I mean this year.
Yeah, nobody. I was looking at tweets earlier, and somebody said the last meaningful game we played was a 23-run blowout to the Mets on April 30th, or something ridiculous.
I mean, I think the only team that I was legitimately worried about was the Phillies, like in the first 10 games of the season, because they beat us like 2 out of 3.
You saw how they imploded.
Legitimately, I think that's the only time I was worried.
And the Braves officially got out of the contention of the playoffs, obviously, but officially.
No, I mean that's the kind of stuff you got to keep tabs on late in the season.
I'm just curious. At this point in the season, it's just something to hit on. Who would be your Nationals MVP?
Nationals MVP at this point in the season, man. I mean, it might be a weird pick. I got to go with Gio Gonzalez.
I was going to nail
that. Because he's been here the whole season, no time on the DL. He's been a consistent winner for us. Honestly, he's been the anchor. Scherzer's been hurt. Strauss has been hurt. Roark hasn't been himself. And the starting pitching staff is where we really hang our hat on this team. I mean,
100%.
We have a very dynamic lineup, but our lineup is situated in a way that we are okay with guys getting hurt, and a lot of guys have missed a little bit of time. Yeah. Obviously, if Zim had kept up his early season pace, I'd say Zim. Mm-hmm. But he has fallen off a little bit. He's still still a career year for him. Still fantastic, way above and beyond anything that I could have expected from him this year. But in terms of importance to the team, Gio Gonzalez, he's really been the stopper for us.
Yeah, and before I hit on that, can you believe Zim in 12-plus years is the first time he got a hit on a 3-0 count, and it was a tater.
Right?
Tater.
Although, they kind of make sense to me because Zim's one of those
never
guys.
swings at those.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't swing on 3-0.
Yeah.
The pitches that he does swing at on 3-0,
Are ridiculous.
he always gets fooled.
Yeah.
Pitchers respect him enough to throw him a curveball on 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, and he hit on that in his post-game interview. He was like, normally I don't swing on 3-0, and when I do, they throw me a slider, and I look like an idiot.
Did he actually say that? I did not see his post-game
He
interview.
didn't say an idiot, but he was like, I've been fooled so many times, and I've been really working on this 3-0 count because I want to take advantage of it.
You know,
He took advantage of it.
yeah, he did. That was one of the loudest home runs I've ever seen.
That's probably one of the farthest home runs in Marlins Park, too.
Well,
Upper
okay,
deck and
so
right center.
that hits on the question that I want to ask you. How much stock do you put in StatCast?
Not at all, because when the ball comes down is where they stop it, and balls could keep going.
Because, so Zim hits his home runs on a line.
Yeah.
I mean, that one had some elevation,
That
but
one
it
was
was
going.
still on a line. Like, that ball, I mean, it was roasted. Yeah. So apparently Bob Carpenter went next door during one of the commercial breaks and asked the Marlins hometown team, their announcers, who else had hit a ball to that area of the ballpark. They said they had seen Stanton and Ozuna do it.
Okay.
Right-handed hitters.
Yeah, right.
What other right-handed hitters they had seen go to
never
right
seen that
center's
there,
upper deck.
but I don't watch them.
They said Stanton and Ozuna, they had never seen a visiting player do it. So, I mean, that is Zim's happy zone, though. Yeah. That's his turbo zone, is when he gets a fastball up and away that he's looking for, that's not too far away, something that he can still shoot his hands at and get the meat of the bat on. I mean, that ball's going places.
That's when you know he's locked in, even though he went 0 for 4 tonight.
He went 0 for 4 tonight.
But that's okay.
He's going to do that.
Yeah, and speaking on the StatCast, the reason why I don't pay attention to that is because some of Bryce Harper's farthest home runs he's ever hit at Nats Park is the triple deck. Those things were flying.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's some of his shortest home runs he's ever hit.
Yeah, because they stop at like 430.
Yeah, something.
Like, if that, honestly.
Like 404 was one of his playoff home runs in a triple deck. The triple deck? The third deck.
Third deck.
And that was absolutely killed off of Hunter Strickland. So, yeah.
That's why I like the home run derby when they say distance and then projected distance.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
But back on Gio Gonzalez, I was totally going to nail it. I was hoping you weren't taking that. But his Cy Young, when he finished third in Cy Young in 2012, he went 21-8. Right now, he is sitting at 14-6 with a 2.5 ERA. So 100% MVP for me.
If we had more time, if we had planned ahead better for this podcast, and actually talked to each other about what we were going to talk about before this, 100%, we both would have nailed that Gio Gonzalez MVP pick, sneaky MVP, and we could have pulled up his run support numbers. Gio probably lost 4 to 5 wins early in the season because he only got 1 or 2 runs of run support. I don't know if they're losses or no decisions, but I mean, it's something that my dad and I talk about a lot, is something that we were talking about early in the season, May, June, July, where Gio was just pitching an absolute gem of a game, not getting any run support. Kind of suffering from Jordan Zimmerman disease. Jordan had a stretch with the Nats where he averaged 1.6 runs of run support per start, which it's part of the reasons why wins is a flawed stat for a pitcher, because you could throw 8 innings of 1-run ball, and 9 times out of 10, that's a fantastic start and you're getting the win, but you can get tagged with a loss just because your team's having an off night. And if you're the pitcher who's just got the bad draw that season, where the team just for whatever reason, whether it's the lineup that's put in behind you or whether it's because everybody just I don't know, feels off when you're pitching for whatever reason, and you don't get that run support, that can be killer. It can really be killer. So Gio's record should be better. It's still remarkable as it is, but you got to look at his ERA, which is I think at 2.51 maybe. Opponent's average against is third best in the league behind Kershaw and Max. I mean, he's doing ridiculous things, and on top of all that, I mean, when you talk about his Cy Young candidacy, like, yes, Kershaw and Scherzer are